Few dishes evoke the warmth and comfort of home, quite like a classic homemade meat pie. With its golden, flaky pastry and savory aromatic filling, the humble meat pie has found a place at family dinner tables and festive gatherings around the world. Today, let's embark on a journey to unlock the secrets of crafting a truly delicious homemade meat pie, one that will fill your kitchen with irresistible aromas and leave your loved ones asking for seconds. The beauty of a homemade meat pie lies in its versatility. Though recipes may vary from region to region, the heart of any great meat pie is the harmonious blend of tender meat, flavorful vegetables, and a perfectly seasoned gravy, all encased in a buttery, crisp pastry. Whether you prefer beef, lamb, chicken, or even a medley of meats, the method remains much the same. A process that rewards patience and care with every mouth-watering bite. Let's begin with the pastry, the foundation of our pie. The secret to a tender, flaky crust lies in the balance between cold fats and minimal handling. Start by combining all-purpose flour with a pinch of salt in a large mixing bowl. To this, add cubes of cold, unsalted butter. Some bakers like to incorporate a bit of chilled shortening as well, which lends additional flakiness to the crust. Using a pastry cutter or your fingertips, work the butter into the flour until the mixture resembles coarse breadcrumbs, with a few pea-sized pieces of butter remaining. Next, drizzle in ice-cold water, a tablespoon at a time, gently stirring with a fork until the dough just comes together. Be careful not to overwork the dough. This is the key to a light, tender pastry. Gather the dough into a ball, flatten it into a disc, wrap it in plastic, and let it rest in the refrigerator for at least 30 minutes. This resting period allows the gluten to relax and the butter to firm up, ensuring your pastry will bake up beautifully. While the pastry chills, turn your attention to the filling. The choice of meat is up to you, but a classic beef and vegetable pie is always a crowd pleaser. Begin by selecting a well-marbled cut of beef, such as chuck or brisket, which becomes meltingly tender when cooked slowly. Cut the meat into bite-sized cubes, season generously with salt and pepper, and set aside. In a large, heavy-bottomed pot, heat a splash of oil over medium-high heat. Working in batches to avoid overcrowding, brown the meat on all sides. This step builds a rich, savory foundation for your filling. Don't rush it, as the caramelized bits left in the pan add tremendous depth of flavor. Once all the meat has been browned and set aside, lower the heat and add diced onions, carrots, and celery to the pot. Sauté until the vegetables are soft and fragrant, scraping up any browned bits from the bottom of the pan. Add minced garlic, a dash of tomato paste, and your favorite herbs. Think thyme, rosemary, or bay leaf for an aromatic boost. Return the browned meat to the pot, then sprinkle in a spoonful of flour. Stir well to coat the meat and vegetables. This flour will help thicken the gravy as the filling cooks. Next, pour in a hearty splash of beef stock, followed by a glug of red wine if you wish, for richness and depth. Bring the mixture to a gentle simmer, cover, and let it cook slowly until the meat is fork tender and the flavors have melded together. This can take anywhere from 45 minutes to 2 hours, depending on the cut of meat you use. As the filling simmers, taste and adjust the seasoning, adding salt, pepper, or a hint of Worcestershire sauce as needed. For a touch of sweetness and complexity, consider stirring in a spoonful of tomato paste or a pinch of brown sugar. If you like, add a handful of frozen peas toward the end of cooking for a pop of color and freshness. Once the filling is luscious and thick, remove it from the heat and let it cool to room temperature. This is an important step. If the filling is too hot when you assemble the pie, it may melt the pastry and result in a soggy bottom. Now, it's time to roll out your chilled pastry. Lightly flour your work surface and rolling pin, then roll the dough into a circle large enough to line your pie dish with a slight overhang. Gently ease the pastry into the dish, taking care not to stretch it, and press it into the edges. Trim any excess, leaving enough to crimp the edges later. Spoon the cooled meat filling into the pastry-lined dish, mounding it slightly in the center. Roll out the remaining pastry for the top crust, then lay it over the filling, pressing the edges to seal. You can crimp the edges decoratively with a fork or your fingers, then cut a few small vents in the top to allow steam to escape while baking. For a beautifully golden crust, brush the top of the pie with a beaten egg. This simple step gives the pastry a glossy, appetizing finish that's sure to impress. Bake your pie in a hot oven until the pastry is deeply golden and crisp, and the filling is bubbling at the edges. The tantalizing aroma will fill your kitchen, drawing everyone to the table with eager anticipation. Allow the pie to cool for at least 15 minutes before slicing. This brief rest helps the filling to set and makes serving much easier. As you cut into the pie, you'll be greeted by the satisfying crunch of the pastry, giving way to a rich, savory filling studded with tender meat and sweet vegetables. Each bite is a symphony of textures and flavors: the buttery crust, the unctuous gravy, the perfectly cooked meat. To elevate your meat pie even further, consider adding your own personal touches. Some cooks like to include a handful of sautéed mushrooms for earthiness, or a spoonful of mustard for a subtle tang. A dash of hot sauce or a sprinkle of fresh herbs can brighten the flavors just before serving. For a rustic touch, try making individual hand pies instead of one large pie, perfect for picnics or packed lunches. Pair your homemade meat pie with creamy mashed potatoes, buttered peas, or a crisp green salad for a meal that's both comforting and satisfying. And don't forget the gravy, a little extra on the side never hurts. What makes a homemade meat pie truly special is the love and care you put into each step. From the careful browning of the meat to the patient simmering of the filling, every moment spent in the kitchen is rewarded at the table. Sharing a slice of homemade pie isn't just about the food. It's about creating memories, nourishing the body and soul, and celebrating the simple pleasures of home cooking. The next time you crave something hearty and delicious, remember that a homemade meat pie is within your reach. With a few simple ingredients and a bit of know-how, you can create a dish that's sure to become a family favorite. So roll up your sleeves, gather your ingredients, and let the magic of homemade cooking bring warmth and joy to your kitchen.